Hi, this is Sean from Team Plus. Welcome back to part 5 of our build of our BMW M3 F80 track car. Last time we started the bodywork, major bodywork features and some aftermarket components added to it, and we need to continue that now with the back of the car. Okay, to the back of the car, trying to start put on the layers here. So this is a layered approach. So what happens is this is a sort of piece that clips in under here, which is a guide for everything. This one goes then attaches to the bottom of it and goes underneath as a bit of a guide towards the holding the back, bottom end of the bumper. And then the bumper plastic goes over the top. Same on the back there. The steel bumper goes on first, the steel crash bar, then another one of these plastic strips across there as a guide. All the wiring goes through that, and it's a clip for the main bumper which goes over the top of it. Same on the other side. So there's sort of 3 layers on each. Well, let's get this side on and see how we go. Well, it's another week later. I'm still working on this back bumper area. I needed some more parts, but a package has arrived, so we'll cut it open, see whether I've got all the bits I need to finish this off. Well, the answer is no, it doesn't have all the bits. What we're missing is the piece that goes on this right hand side. We do have the steel, we've got the strip that runs along the back, got the fuel filler and the rear tail light that goes there and there, but we don't have that piece there that was in the order. Time to go check on what's happening. So while it'll take another week to get those parts, we can move on with the back steel and the back guide. With the guide in place, we can reconnect the rear tail lights, including our new tail light, and tidy up all of the wiring at the back. So let me fill you in on some things that I wasn't able to video. I've managed to get put the fuel filler surround in. It's now just missing the actual external plate to go on there. Trying to find one of those. Still missing that side piece there, but I got the rest of the plastics on, got the wiring all pushed through it. You may have seen I was struggling to find where some of these sensors go in here. Well, it turns out they don't go in there, they go on the next layer of plastic. So I'll show you where they ended up when we put that on. And that leaves us with all these connectors hanging down here. So these ones at the end are for the lane change sensors that I'm not reattaching. So I'm going to cover them in plastic, wrap them up and wrap them onto these wires here so they don't rattle around. Then there are four of these here that go to the rear parking sensors. They're also not going to be connected, so they'll be taped up and wrapped into the wire. 4 of those. One of those is actually already cut off from the damaged car, and this one goes down into those sensors we were just looking at last time that are fitted on the back, and those sensors are for the key sensing. So the car knows that you're there. There's a series of them around the car on each sort of panel, if you like, and one inside the car that detect the remote key, which is important to keep. So wrapping these up is the next thing we do. I've also put these headlights in place. They're all wired in, got their little drip covers on and wired back on. What I have found, of course, is that this one actually ends up a slightly different tint than the others. Just something I'll live with. If I see a cheap one day, I might replace it, but I don't need to at this stage. And the last one to show you is I needed to come up with a better way of securing the boot and looking at how I'm going to hold it, but also primarily be able to let you open it when there's no power to the car. This is often have long periods of time where the power's turned off. So my original plan, if you saw the plan video, was to have some straps that went from here to here, and you would unlatch it and open it, which is pretty common, but I decided it didn't look any good, and wanted something a little cooler, and then thought, okay, how's this going to work? Because this was all electrically operated for the release. This is the release element of the boot, so this was all electrically operated. However, and if I've got another one here, it has a little hatch in here to allow a Bowden cable to pull it open, to unlock it by pulling the cable there. So I started thinking about how I can add a manual cable to it. That's there to allow an internal cable on the internal cable on the production cars, so that, I don't know why, but international standards, to have a release in the boot in case someone for some reason has trapped themselves in the boot. So I was looking around at cable ideas and actually came up with this one, which is the release from one of those recliner lounge chairs. So it's a Bowden cable pulley there, pulls open that, and I thought, okay, maybe I can mount this. It's nicely designed to be flush mounted, so I didn't mount this somewhere on the boot. So as it turns out, if you take off this cap here, that is the connector for the Bowden cable in this system, and this lounge chair capability fits in there perfectly and goes out through there, and then the cover goes back on. And then this just needs to be mounted somewhere securely to hold the pressure on it so that it can work. So that's what I did. So I've put that into there. I cut, this is just plastic, so cut along the edges here of the actual lever and was able to mount it up in where the original button goes on the boot. So this spot here now has a nice little lever to open it up. It sits in there snugly, it's all got room behind it, and then a small hole in here to allow that that mounting tab to go in to hold the pressure on it, and it works beautifully. So I'm pretty happy with that. So once it's closed, it just gives me a nice lever under there to be able to open it up. One thing I'm missing though is I don't have the other half of the latch, reason being that the original that was on here was cut for some reason, probably to get the boot open on the damaged car. They've actually cut this off, so I'm in the middle of trying to source one of these, which seems more difficult than most parts to get one. I assume that's just because they stay with the various chassis, but still looking for that, and once that's done we'll have a working boot. Another package of parts has arrived from M Performance Parts in Sydney. So let's see what we've got this time, whether we've got all the bits we need. That goes under there. And this one is this one that goes around the corner here. Beautiful. Get these installed. And with all those layers complete, I could finally put on the main bumper layer. And here's the final result of getting that bumper on. Pretty happy with that. Seems to fit all right. I 3D printed some small filler panels to go in where the parking sensors once were. I am missing a reflector and so on in there, but not worried about that. I've now got on the remaining parts of the body kit, a small diffuser panel there, and its little side skirts to go with the rest of the body side skirts that went around there. And yeah, it's looking good. I'm really happy with having a back end on the car. So the next things I want to take a look at are where to put the rain light. Go somewhere around the center here, and where to put a battery charging outlet that I've got, you know, an Anderson plug outlet that's going to go either somewhere on this boot panel. I don't really want to put it in plastic. You know, it could be over here. I want to keep it away from any of the fuel filling pieces. So if it's plugged in a workshop or something, you don't want it anywhere near fuel. So it's most likely to end up somewhere inside this boot panel again, possibly up near what we're doing with these other pieces up here. So maybe up in there, for example, as a place to plug in the car, and then it's sort of out of the way, doesn't matter whether the boot's open or closed. We'll give that a go. Alright, well I'm going to go with it up here, replacing the BMW badge. So I just need to mark our holes. Yeah, that's right. That's where it'll go. I won't secure it in fully until I do the wiring as part of the electronics stage. Now, the other part. Where will this go? So it could go up in here, which is easy to get to. I think it's probably the right place. Interesting thing is, I wonder if it fits in instead of one of these little tail lights. It does. So I could put it there. I think that'll work nicely. So nice neat power outlet to plug in the charger for the car. Covered up, and now I just need to 3D print some filler panels that go in here. And I'll wire all this up once I'm doing the electronics of the car. So we'll have a battery isolator, e-stop, there'll be a CAN bus connection in the back here, don't know what for yet, but we'll put one in, and connect this piece here. We'll have a mini power distribution module here that's controllable from the CAN bus, to be able to control, turn that light on and off, and obviously the charging to go in here. So that's where we're going to stop this video. We've done the body, basically got the body onto this car. There's really 3 more major steps to go here. Interior, so the race seats, the roll cage, and some of the electronics elements that are going through the whole car for race electronics. The brakes, wheels, tyres, and brake ducting around each of the 4 wheels, and underneath the car there's exhaust and the final bracing pieces to go on underneath there. So stay tuned for next time, see what we do next.